Hey, what's up everybody? Today we have another episode of my Yugioh Masochist challenge. This is going to be the 5th one in the series. Now if you notice something a little off, it's because I have done one of the worst mistakes you can do as a content creator. And that is to start recording and not make sure my audio is sorted out. To be exact, I set it up in another application altogether to capture my voice, and I forgot to save it. My computer got reset before I did it. I thought I saved it. It is what it is. So just going to be doing a voiceover for this one. And hopefully this is the one and only time it happens. No big deal. So as you might have seen, there was a free SR pack. Later on in the series, I will be opening one of those packs, like forced to open it and claim it since I logged in, which is unfortunate. I also have other things that are available to me just because, you know, it's newcomer and returnal panel missions. I'm currently not planning on using any of those in the challenge, even if the cards are like okay or mediocre. You know, something that you guys can vote on overall if you think I can use some of these cards or not. And overall, that's what I would like to do with this series going forward when it comes to certain topics. You know, people can vote and we can go from there. Because, you know, overall, I'll say flat out, you know, if I don't like something or I don't want to do it because I feel like it would be too much. But if enough people think otherwise or think it's not going to hurt the challenge, then I'm fine doing that, you know. On that note, for the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2024 qualifiers, they gave out a couple of free items. That being some gems and 2 2024 reward tickets. So these tickets, however, I will be using to add to my deck, and you will see why in a moment. So basically, after looking at these cards, these are all cards that are available in legacy packs. So this is only giving me like slightly better rates to get some of these cards that, you know, again are only legacy pack only, which is why I end up using them, because I don't think it's game breaking. And I mean, look at this card right here, the trap card. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, this card alone made me be like, okay, I'm fine pulling on it because it's so bad. Your life points have to be less than 100, you can draw 2 cards. And if your life points are lower than 10, you can draw another 2 cards. Like, what the heck is this card? That's absolutely ridiculous. Lower than 100 is bad enough, but less than 10, like, it's a Dinomorphia trap if anything, and not a good one. So I'm going to go ahead and open the packs. They're both got the glow on it, because again they have slightly higher rates. SR and UR. So we get Brain Golem and Slash Draw. If you know what's up with Slash Draw, it's basically like a OTK meme card, so it's basically useless for us. The other 2 cards, you got Draining Shield and another monster. So, Brain Golem is basically like a Summon Skull Power tribute summon that has advantage against lights. Effective face-up light monsters are negated, and then you can attack again if it destroys one. Draining Shield just gives you back some life points. And the last monster there, it's like basically if it dies, I can summon a token. So, it's not a bad card for what it is, it's usable. So, to the card editing, I decided to add all the cards I got except Slash Draw because they're all pretty decent, and you know, as per usual, this deck is very, very bad, so they're considered upgrades at this point, you know. So Dark Effigy, I think I was explaining here about how I misread it. I think I made a note in the previous one, but it's only for a tribute summon of a dark normal monster, not a dark effect monsters. So while I thought I was cooking, like I had 3 to 4 level 7 or higher dark tribute summon monsters, it, you know, it doesn't qualify. So that definitely makes it an easy decision to get rid of. As for the next 2 cards, I end up getting rid of the Archfiend Emperor along with my other Archfiend card in my deck because, frankly, I'm tired of drawing into them. Archfiend General does absolutely nothing, and even though the level 8 one can be normal summoned, and if I have the other Archfiend in my hand is removal, it's not good, extremely inconsistent, and again, I'm tired of drawing into him because he's the 1500 that I'm forced to play in attack mode and get destroyed at the end of the turn. It's not even a body to protect my life points. But now that that's out the way, let's go ahead and get into our first match. Alright, first duel with a very, very bad looking hand. Because I got the Wall of Disruption, I got my Scrap Iron, I want to say Scarecrow, but you know, the bad version. I have Heat Wave, Reptilian Rage, and then also, well, my Destiny Doom Lord. Now, as you can see, they passed immediately. That means that this is a bot. And of course, I draw in a Roulette Spider. Very, very trollish card. Like, on paper, it's not good. It could do something good, and I think, you know, overall, it's something that I saw as a funny card to include. But overall, it screwed me. It might have happened twice that it cut my life points in half. Never really actually helped me. But it is what it is. So I attack for 1400. Set everything. Because what else can I do? Now, since this is a bot, and we know how this is going to go, I keep summoning, I attack, I win. I want to talk about a couple things. You know, overall, I hope for you guys who are watching this that you're enjoying the series. You know, any suggestions are greatly appreciated, comments and all that. Just so I know how you're enjoying it. You know, overall, the change I made and the reason I don't have my voice going in the first place was so I could make better, you know, audio, mic quality and all that. So hopefully this sounds a little better than beforehand. I'm not going to be playing this game when I'm tired, because a couple of times I was playing and I genuinely was tired and falling asleep due to the slow play. Thank God this bot, by the way, was actually fast. Most of the time they aren't. And another thing that was mentioned was something about saving packs until the end of the episodes to pull them, like with the legacy tickets. But while I'm not completely against that idea, at this point in time, there's no way I can do that with the way the deck is. You know, I need all the help I can get as soon as possible. But you know, we'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, that's the first duel of this episode, and it's a win, which is always nice. Love to get new cards. I need them. Okay, so on to the first Master Pack. 1 SR guaranteed. So we have Constellar Meteor. During the turn, this card is activated. If an opponent's monster battles a Constellar monster, the opponent's monster is not destroyed. Shuffle into the deck at the end of the damage step. So, yeah, Constellar cards, I can't really use that, and even then, I don't think this card is that good. Got that Wacky Magic. Never seen this card before up until now. Banish all spell cards from your graveyard. Destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls with defense less than or equal to the number of spell cards you banish. Very crazy card. I don't even know what deck you would want to use this in, but it's not that good. Masochist wise, it might not be too bad. Dark Lord Enchantment, I almost said Enhancement. Send one Dark Lord monster from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard. Take control of one face-up monster your opponent controls until the end phase. Not bad. Got a Gravekeeper, Spear Monster. He's just 1500 piercing, nothing crazy. And then we have Abyss Actor Twinkle Little Star, which is a very weird card to say the least. Basically, if it's on field, it cannot be destroyed by battle during my turn, and it can make up to 3 attacks during each battle phase. Now, this is something that I could see being busted if I get Moon Mirror Shield, because then, you know, normal this, Moon Mirror Shield equipped, I can basically board wipe the enemy, wipe out 3 of the monsters for free, which is really cool. The Pendulum effect is basically just going to lock me into using Abyss Actor monsters for Pendulum summons, along with me being able to target one Abyss Actor I control, and that monster can attack 3 times during the battle phase, but all my other monsters can't attack. So that other effect is not as helpful. I mean, it can be if I get a crazy strong Abyss Actor, okay, like if there's a 2500 one. I don't know, I haven't really messed with or seen this archetype much, you know? Also, if you noticed, I made my camera a little smaller because I couldn't see the text on there, you know, on the card there, and I'm like, hey, if I can't see it, you guys can't see it. So, camera's going to be a little smaller from now on. I might make it a little smaller in the future as well. Don't want it to be blocking up too much, you know? Next we have Hydrogeddon, very simple old school card. an ancient sacred wyvern. And he's a light tuner, but basically while I have more life points than my opponent, it's stronger than them, and I can pay 1,000 life points to revive it, so not a bad synchro. And then I get an Altergeist card, Altergeist Silquitos, I think that's the right way to say it. And I was really happy about this because I already had an SR Altergeist card, I have one Link monster for it, so I'm like, okay, cool, I can actually combo with this thing. As it is right now, it's not really that good. The only usable effect is I can, do the first thing, return Altergeist monster to the hand, and then I can target a card my opponent controls and return it to the hand, but that's going to require me to have literally my only 2 Altergeist monsters on the field and bounce the other one back to my hand just for that. The second effect is dealing with Altergeist traps. I don't have any at the moment, so that's not really a usable effect, but hey, I can Link summon the monster possibly now. Once the legacy packs, no glow, but that's perfectly fine with me at this point. Anything could be an upgrade. And you get vanilla and then spiritualism, which is basically you target one spell or trap, return to your opponent's hand, and the card cannot be negated. As for shift, there's absolutely no way I'm using that because it's basically if one of my monsters gets targeted for an attack or a spell or trap effect, then I can redirect that effect onto another monster I control. And I'm not usually going to have multiple monsters on the field anyway. If this card targeted an opponent's monster, then it would be good and I would consider using it. Negative attack for sure, that's a huge card for this challenge. So for the updates, I'm definitely going to add the Altergeist card along with the negative attack and the Sacred Wyvern. I'm going to end up removing Jet Warrior, almost said Jet Synchron. Jet Warrior because I don't have Jet Synchron, therefore I can't summon it. Spiritualism I'm definitely thinking about adding in general because I know it could be usable. Ganogo I end up removing because I don't know, something about it. I was tired of seeing it, tired of having it there, and it wasn't really that good of an effect. Like, it was just okay. Change the opponent's monster to face down defense, but I don't think it's really helped me. Maybe if there's a situation where that could have helped me and I lose because of it, then I'll consider adding it back. And since I was talking about it earlier, I decided to get rid of Roulette Spider because it was not doing me any favors. For the last thing, I do end up adding the Spiritualism and removing one of my stray Pearly Streets. I know it's haha funny if I can play that card at the start and get a free win out of it, but essentially that's 2 bricks I'm playing off of hoping my opponent's a quitter, So, we're up against somebody with a Blue Eyes setup, and the first thing they do is activate a Photon / Galaxy card, Galaxy 100. When this card is activated, you can send 1 Photon or Galaxy card from your deck to the graveyard. Then if a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon is special summoned to their field, they can look at my opponent, look at my extra deck, right? They can either banish a monster or special summon a numbers monster, which is pretty crazy. Since there is 100 different types of number monsters, pretty good chance that you'll be able to summon one from your opponent's deck. I was just checking out this Photon Emperor, never seen that before. They end up paying 2,000 life points to special summon Galaxy Photon Dragon, along with another level 8. The monster takes it to the graveyard. Galaxy 100 activates. I think they might end up banishing a monster here instead of just, picking one of the numbers monsters and special summoning it, because I think I have a numbers monster in my deck. Yeah, I do. Ragna Zero. But they decide to banish a monster. And that monster just so happens to be my elemental hero Cosmoneos, which is pretty funny to me. I'm like, okay, sure, by all means, get rid of that card. It's basically going to be the most use I get out of the card, for it to be fodder for them to remove, thinking that they're doing something. So they play the new Neo Galaxy Royal Rare card that they just gave out to all the returning players. Or, no, that's just for logging in, my bad. But, they play it, 6,400 attack. There's not really much I can do in this situation, so I just set my 2,200 defender, and activate Lost World, so all monsters lose 500 attack and defense. Set my Reptilian Rage for a bluff, because what else can I do at this point? So onto my opponent's turn, he's gonna play Galaxy Soldier, and I already know at this point that means he's probably gonna get another Xyz monster on the field. That's how it usually goes with this deck. It's a main combo piece. Now I would like to know what you guys think about the subject. Would you rather me skip duels like this in general, where it's essentially my opponent showing off a combo tutorial with their deck and just skip to the end? Like, obviously I'm still going to keep up with the scoreboard, the wins and losses and all that. And this player in particular wasn't like slow playing and wasn't doing combos that took forever, so that's why I don't mind showing this one. But a couple of them I have severely cut down. If it's, you know, basically y'all know I'm not winning the duel anyway, unless I surrender sooner. That's another option, you know. I could just surrender sooner, but it depends what my mission is or what I'm trying to accomplish there. See if I have another way out. He actually took my Ragnar Zero the second time around. Then they go to battle phase and activate the effect of the one in the middle. I'm sorry, there's so many Galaxy Eyes cards. I think it's Neo Galaxy Eyes. And they bring back another monster. Go for the attack on mine. Which, surprise, surprise, they can easily beat over. I take 51 damage. 51 damage. 5,100. 5,100 would have been fine. He attacks me with my own monster as well. I have 1,000 life points left. And let's see if I have some miracle draw like Regeki. Nope. Revival Golem. I don't even have Regeki. Who would have thought? So yeah, just play Cure Mermaid, because I'm just going to crash and end the duel. What else can I do at this point? Except end, let it go back to his turn. And he might try to combo a little bit more before just attacking and going for game. Especially if they don't know what my face down is. I could move with some Mirror Force or something, and I was waiting till last second. But that's the second duel done. And another loss to the record. 13 wins to 34 losses. I don't know if I'm doing better than I thought or not, because they're almost about to hit 50. Alright, so on to the next duel. Going second with 3 traps in hand. Hate to see it. I'm not very happy with my hand though, because aside from the traps, I only have one playable monster, and then I have a level 8. My opponent just ends up playing X Dragonute, setting 1 card, which I'm like, okay, let's see what I can do here. Draw my new Altergeist Soquitos. Can't really do anything with it. It's basically a dead card in hand. Well, I guess not. I could set it to block damage. But I set my Poison Mummy, set my negative attack, my other trap there, just to see what I could do here potentially. So they go ahead and normal summon Luster Dragon. I'm like, dang, they really opened with their strongest monsters, you know? And then go to battle phase, attack, and surprise, surprise, I'm going to use my negate attack to get around it. On my turn, I use Ominous Fortune Telling to pick a card and guess what type, guess monster. It has a Lancer Dragonute in the hand. I guessed monster because if they have more spells and traps, I'm assuming they would set it, and this is most likely like the Blue Eyes starter deck, so good chance there's one in the hand. I play my warrior monster with the fact that, you know, it's pretty darn good. I actually like this card from my deck because, you know, when it attacks a dragon monster now, it's going to get double attack. But they have a Ring of Destruction and immediately just go for it to get rid of my monster, which sucks so bad because that was my out. I could have easily crashed, well, beat over Luster Dragon, assume my opponent doesn't know how it works, not going to read, and then attack over it with the Dragon Newt, and then they both are gone. 2 monsters for the price of 1, but can't win them all. They obviously did read it if they're going to go for a Ring of Destruction like that. The opponent ends up going for a Tribute Summon to bring out Blue Eyes White Dragon. Who could have guessed it? And you know that's bye-bye for my zombie. But at least to get hit for 500 damage. Ooh. Back to my turn, I draw Alien Warrior. Not really going to beat over a Blue Eyes though. But I'm going to go for my Ominous Fortune Telling again. Once again, with the same mindset, going to go for monster cards. I hit the same one, so it's another 700 they lose. This is just a very simple set to Altergeist and pass. What else can I really do here? In the world that they didn't have much monsters or had like a bunch of bricks in their hand, I could do something cool here by continually setting, installing, and burning them to death with the Ominous Fortune Telling. That would be pretty funny, but obviously I would need more Stoli cards for that to work. End up normal summoning the Lancer and then use Dragon's Cry, that other monster being the Luster Dragon, which is not good because now I got 3 monsters on board. There's really not going to be too much I can do against them in this scenario. So it goes the Altergeist, and I'm about to take 4,500 for free. Part of the cards gets me Lost World, which is just going to lower the damage of everything. Now I know they played the Dragon Newt, but what am I going to go for this time? Monster again to get another Dragon Newt. So they had 2 in hand, or drew into another one before they played the other copy. Who knows? Other way, play Alien Warrior because it's the best move I can do. Just get rid of one of his monsters, even though I know there's another one in hand. Activates Lost World. Almost said Small World, but Lost World. So my last card is a bluff. And yeah, that's the best I can do here. Out comes the other Dragon Newt. And pretty sure this is enough damage on board to win them the game. So of course they're going to attack with Luster Dragon. Alien Warrior's effect activates, putting on 2 counters. So helpful, so busted. Dragon Newt gets revenge on me destroying his brother. And we know how this ends. With a very, very cool animation. So on to the next duel. I'm going to be going first, and I'm actually pretty happy with this hand because I have one of my favorite trap cards in this deck. Yeah, I would say it's my favorite at the time. Might not even be my best one in the deck, but it's done so much for me. Wall of Disruption is such a good card. I'm going to set that and play my alien card in attack mode. The thing that makes it so good to me, though, is just like, it's almost guaranteed that your opponent's going to have at least 2 monsters on the field in this day and age when they attack you. So you're basically hitting them with a minus 1,600 and it's permanent. My opponent is actually playing Dark Lord, so they go for the trade-in effect. Discard this card and 1 Dark Lord card, and then you can draw 2 cards. Okay, maybe not trade-in. No, trade-in is still a 2 for 2. you lose a spell card as a monster to draw 2. But yeah, they put that in the grave. They put Capricious Dark Lord in the grave. I might have played against one Dark Lord player in Master Duel up to this point, so I don't know what's up with them too much. I know that they're all in the artwork for the Forbidden Chalice and like all the Forbidden cards. That's pretty much it with it. Yeah, they're gonna play Dark Lord Cashapp Polka, and then throw out their monster board right afterwards to bring back the other Dark Lord monster they sent. I want to say I think her name starts with the I, but don't want to butcher it. Ixchel? Unless that's an L instead of an I. I don't know. It's funny, when the first time I can say I heard of that card was when people were talking about their like favorite waifu cards. But yeah, Wall of Disruption is showing out here because they attack, and with the attack being lowered, I can get rid of their monster. And this board that would have been detrimental to me is now very easy to overcome. They don't set any back row either, so it's a free destruction on their card there. Drawing a Heat Wave, which is not a bad card, because it prevents you and your opponent from normal or special summoning effect monsters until the next draw phase. My next draw phase, to be exact. So this card is actually really good if I'm playing more normal monsters. Like Labradorite, that's a normal monster, but I'm not going to do anything with that. So I activate the Wave card because I know I can beat over it. Set my Wizard because I know they can't play anything to attack over unless they have a normal monster in their deck and in their hand. Because next turn I know that I'm going to have 2 level 4s in the field, both with 1800, which is a pretty good spot to be in. I have my other soldier in the back, which is 2k attack to beat over whatever they throw out at me. I'm just basically hoping they don't have a way to bring out one of those stronger Dark Lords because their attack is all pretty high. And the best thing I can do to stop them is play Labradorite in defense mode. And that's only 2,400 though. You go for another effect of discarding 2 to draw 2. So at this point I'm really worried I feel like they got some broken card in their hand and turn the stool around. At this point I'm really like, oh no, what are they gonna do now that they got 2 new cards? They actually end up just passing, which really has me puzzled. Like, what did you draw from that +2 to not be able to play anything? No monsters or like set anything, even as a bluff. So I decided to flip some of my Cyberse Wizard, because I'm about to go in for damage. As for the Hunter, I was deciding if I wanted to play him or not, but I know they're playing Dark Lord, so therefore I know everything, or most of their cards at least, are going to be Fairy. So with all this is going to be 4,600 they end up taking. Putting it down to 1,700. Very tempting to be able to go for my Blackluster Soldier, but there's really no point in doing that since he's not going to be immune to any effects. So if they happen to draw some random card like Fissure or Hammer Shot, something that could just destroy a singular monster, I would have just got rid of my whole board for no reason. And since they did absolutely nothing, it's like you know, at the end of their last turn, it's better for me to leave as many monsters on the field as possible. They sadly end up getting a spell card that says Special Summon 1 Dark Lord from the graveyard. Thankfully in defense position, so they can't beat over it immediately, but no, that's not good, because again, their stats are very high. So we bring back the Cashapp Polka. Pay 1,000 life points to target one of their spell or trap cards in the grave and apply to target. Well, apply the effect. to be exact. So they do Dark Lord contract again to bring out the other monsters. So now they have 2 monsters on the field. That monster, oh yeah, it still had to be in defense mode. I was about to say maybe they could have done attack, but no, the text says play it in defense mode. So now they have 2 monsters to defend their life points. So I got Dimension Wall, which is pretty darn good. That's gonna be like an extra layer of protection if something does go wrong. If they mirror force me, for example, then they think they're gonna go for a game next turn. They got something else coming. However, this is gonna be over for them because I already have game on board. They just don't know it yet. So I'm gonna go into my Blackluster Soldier after playing my Hippolymus. Use all my monsters except the Cyberus Wizard. So boom with a 3k. From the jump, that's enough to beat over both of their monsters. And because of the effect when I destroy a monster, I can either gain an attack boost or, you know, do a second attack. It's pretty much game unless they're face down, does something to stop me. Obviously this is popping up, so they have a potential response. And they use Dark Lord Enchantment, the exact same card that I happen to pull. So they gotta send 1 card from their hand or face up on the field to the graveyard and take control of 1 monster that I control to the end phase. So that kind of ruined my plan there. But remember, I have the Dimension Wall. At least my monster comes back to me, which is very much appreciated. Never fun when an opponent steals your Link monster or one of your boss monsters and then immediately links it away or does something else with it and you can't get it back. Or even worse, take your most OP monster and just put it in the spell and trap zone. And for the 3rd time in this duel, they go for the +2 with Dark Lord Ishel. And they end up just ending their turn again. Nothing to set, which again is pretty crazy to me. Just like last time, I'm going to go and attack with my Blackluster Soldier. Uses effect. I decide to grab the attack boost because why not? And I don't think it matters at this point. Opponent has a potential response once again. And they go for Gamma, of all things. Which I wasn't expecting that. Now in hindsight, this was not the best play to activate the effect, because if I didn't activate the effect, I could have just attacked a 1 with my Cyberus Wizard. So that's just another thing that happens with the game. Sometimes you do stuff that you consider overboard and lose because of it, and then sometimes you think you have the game, you try to immediately end the game, trying to be, you know, get the match over as soon as possible, for it to still end poorly. Because had you made that extra long play and set up another negate or 2, you would have actually won. I ended up playing my other level 4 monster, and instead of synchro summoning, since I don't have a level 8 I could have gone into there, I Xyz summoned my Ragna Zero. Because me just leaving that 1 level 4 on the field by itself is pretty bad if they play something and beat over it. I just wanted the strongest monster I could get my hands on. They activate the effect that says discard a Dark Lord. Then you target 1 in the graveyard and add it to your hand. I'm like, I don't know what they're about to add to their hand to make that move worth it, because the other cards seem to want to have the effect to discard something else to activate it, you know. And they add back his shell again. And I'm like, why? You can't do anything with that. It was a very weird play. But hey, it is what it is. Easily just go to battle phase and attack for game now. So that was an actual duel, which was nice. Always good to have that, like a legit game go on where it's back and forth, you know? But it was very crazy to me that they activated Yugioh's effect 3 times. It's 6 extra cards they drew, and they almost never were able to capitalize off of it. I get 1 legacy ticket, Bat of all cards. Just wow, what a great Yu-Gi-Oh card. And then Violent Rain. Funny enough, I think is my second strongest vanilla monster, but it's pretty funny. So for the master pack, let's see what we get. 1 SR, despite there not being a glow. So you got Nephi Shadow Fusion. Activate this card by declaring 1 attribute, equip only to Shadow monster. That already makes it unusable at this point. During your main phase, you can fusion summon 1 Shadow Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. Just a very slow polymerization at this point. We get Phantom Knight's Wing. Target 1 face-up monster on the field that gains 500 attack. Also the first time that target would be destroyed by battle or card effect this turn is not destroyed. You can banish it, target 1 Phantom Knight's monster in the graveyard, special summon it, but banish it when it leaves. That second effect right now is useless because I don't have any Phantom Knights, but the first one's not bad. This is just a plunder patrol booty. Unusable. Unless I'm, of course, running Plunder Patrol cards. Archetypal card, basically. The only other use you can really get out of this is if you want to change an opponent's attribute for some reason, but even then, the card's gonna disappear if you don't control a Plunder Patrol. Then I get Gimmick Puppet Magnet Doll. If your opponent controls a monster, and all monsters you control are Gimmick Puppet, you can special summon it from your hand. Another archetypal card, not going to run that because it's 1000 attack and defense on a level 8. And unless I have other Gimmick Puppets, what's the point? I get Ancient Rules, which is a very nice card. Special summon 1 level 5 or higher normal monster from your hand. Don't have much use for this at the moment, but in the future it can be pretty good. Hazy Glory, which is just Hazy Flame card. Then I get Fright for a Repair, which is basically you can return a fusion monster back to the extra deck, then special summon 1 Fluffle or Edge of monster from the graveyard, and then you also have an effect that you can banish this from the grave to special summon 1 of those cards from your hand. The thing is, you can't do both effects in the same turn, so it's just an extra way to pull off a special summon here and there. Never really used this card even when I was playing Fright first. And then I get Signet Codec, which is basically a code talker card. Not usable for me at the moment. Time to open up the one and only legacy ticket. I end up getting Miniaturize and Parallel Selection. Miniaturize is actually not a bad card because it says I can target 1 monster in the field that has more than 1000 original attack and has a level. Then I can reduce this level by 1 and make it lose 1000 attack. Basically dual usage there. I can use it to be over something if I need it and also mess up someone's play if they're going for an Xyz or a Synchro play and I see it coming, you know. Parallel Selection is just terrible. It's only when I lose a Synchro monster I can select one of my removed from play spells and add to my hand. Super specific, not worth playing. Back to the deck building, I decide to remove Pearly Street. It is just a dead card. And throw a Miniaturize because again I saw that it has some use. Decided to check to see if I had any Phantom Knights monsters to capitalize off of the secondary effect. I don't, but it still gives you an attack boost that can save you for a turn. Much more useful than Mystical Elf. I didn't want to really draw into that card, so I decided to get rid of it. On to the next duel. Not a very good hand at all, considering I have so many traps in my deck. And yeah, all monsters. Literally the best thing I could do is play my Knight Dracolich there, because it has an effect that when things are special summoned, they turn into defense mode. At least that's what I thought initially, because the effects of Knight Dracolich only take effect when it is summoned, not when it just stays on the field. So basically just summoned a 1700 monster attack mode. And the first thing they end up doing is special summoning Cashapp Fenrir. And they search for Unicorn. Already not looking good. But how much worse can it get? Oh wait, what's that? A Royal Rare? King Sarcophagus. Yeah, you can guess how this one's gonna go. And since I went first, have no back row, yeah, I'm out of here. Alright, next duel, going first. Oh no, they're going first, my bad. Yeah, not really a good hand. 4 monsters, 1 trap. New trap I just put in there. So I have some form of attack weakening I can do against them next turn because, you know, situations like this where you would rather have a spell than a trap. So you start off with Chocolate Magician Girl. Once per turn, you can discard a spellcaster, draw a card, and then once per turn, if this card is targeted for an attack, you can target 1 spellcaster monster in your graveyard, except the same name as her. Special summon it, then change the attack target to it, and if you do, the attacking monster's attack becomes half. Very, very scary card effect. And then they activate Kiwi Magician Girl's effect to gain 300 attack for each Dark Magician Girl with different names on the field and graveyards, because they sent regular Dark Magician Girl. Why they sent her? I don't know. She's also level 5, which is interesting. Thought it was level 4 with those stats, but it's probably a match with Dark Magician Girl herself. So I draw a Dimension Wall, one of my best traps, but because of Chocolate Magician Girl's effect, I'm in a bad position, because even though I can attack over 1600, the fact that they can pull out the regular Dark Magician Girl and then half my monster's attack is insane. Like, I would need a monster with over 3000 attack to be able to beat over their Dark Magician Girl in this scenario. So I just set my Anatherist Rock. I probably didn't say that name right. The Rocket Dragon with 2200 defense. I just said that because what else can I do here? So then I activate Magician's Navigation. Special summon 1 Dark Magician from the hand. Allows them to also special summon another monster along with it, so bring out Dark Magician, the iconic monster. Gotta wait and see what the other one is, because it can be any level 7 or lower Dark Spellcaster from the deck. You know, for that version with the inverted stats. Don't see people playing it too often. They activate the effect of Chronicle Magician. I don't see people playing this often or at all. This is maybe the first time I've seen someone play it. Basically a full special summon in defense. I guess it's more of an Xyz card at that point. But buffs the other monster they summoned to 4600, and because they control Dark Magician, can just straight up go and blast my defense position monster. So I attack with Chocolate Magician Girl. Going for the other monster here. That gets named Dark Magician while it's on the field. I can hit them back for 4600, which is pretty nice. If I didn't activate that here, I would have lost, but you know, want to see what I can draw into next turn. Might be something I can use or do to turn the tide. Do I have a card like that in my deck? I don't really know, if I'm being honest. Draw into Cyberse Wizard. Can change a type position monster to defense, but even then, the only monster I could do that on is the Chocolate Magician Girl, and that still doesn't stop the effect from activating. So the fact that that's the only monster I can beat over or try to do something against sucks, because it's a lose-lose in this situation. So I just decide to normal summon my wizard, activate his effect to turn Berry Magician Girl in defense, and that's it. Not berry, chocolate. Then on their turn, they set a card, switch both of their monsters to attack, battle phase, and attack with the Chronicle Magician first. So I go and use my miniaturize, because that allows me to at least beat over it in this scenario. Only for them to respond with the trap card in the graveyard that has an effect that they can banish it, target one spell or trap I activate, and negate the effect. And it's been some time since I've gone up against somebody actually using Magician's Navigation, so I completely forgot about that effect. Oh well. Even in the scenario that I did beat over that, they would still be able to beat my monster, and this match is pretty much over. Not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind getting Chocolate Magician Girl and some other cards that work with her effect for myself, because that would be really good in this challenge. Just a hard combo to beat over. I win the coin flip here and decide to go first because, you know, the deck has a lot of traps in it, and overall I much rather regret like getting a poor opening hand versus, oh, I picked second and I had a bunch of traps in my hand. And looking at my hand here, it was a good choice. I got 3 traps. I got my field spell that can boost up my monsters. I do have 1 search with that, which is good. And then out Lumirage, one of the best monsters in my deck. Kind of shocked it's a normal and not a rare. But we got Oboku, Dimension Wall, stuff that can protect my monster, and they scoop. This is really how it was going in my head up until this point. But you know what? We will take it, especially after those last few games. They were playing a Galaxy Eyes deck, by the way. Must have really bricked hard to leave that early. Now, I knew that this was going to be the last pulls of the video, so I decided to do them in reverse. Legacy tickets first. We have the SR Glow. What do we get here? Get Doppelganger. When you take damage from an effect of a monster your opponent controls, inflict the same amount of damage to your opponent. Very situational. And then you got Bhutan, which is a light fairy tuner. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard to target one face-up level 4 or lower light fairy type monster you control. It is treated as a tuner while face-up on the field. So, yeah, neither of these are really that good. Very niche. Bhutan could have a use in a light fairy type deck. Situational, of course, but not really a good card standalone. And now we have a UR in the second pack. Penguin Soldier, of all cards. I love the card. I was so happy for this because it's just so good. And then a Duel Abyss Worm. Now, it doesn't say new because this came with the starter deck I picked, but it's a new card that I can actually use. This card is in your hand or graveyard. You can banish 2 other Cyberse monsters from your hand and or face up on your field. Special summon this card, but its attack becomes halved. You can only activate this effect once per turn. Once per turn, you can banish 1 card from your hand, banish 1 monster in the field with attack less than or equal to this card's. So, it's like the best thing about this card is the removal, right? You banish a card, you can banish one of theirs. I don't know what makes this a UR necessarily. because it's a pretty steep cost to me. It'd be like, I guess in a link deck like Code Talker, it would be easy to have targets to banish to special summon this, but then its attack is halved and therefore the banishing effect isn't as good because it's only 14 versus 28. I don't know what makes it a UR, but it's something. And if I want to keep a level 8 tribute summon in my deck, I can replace the Galaxy card I have with 2500 attack and defense with this one for a little more attack. On to the Master Pack now. Got that good SR glow going on, so good chance it could be something good, you know? Have one guaranteed. And I unfortunately misclicked and opened up all the cards at once. Still gonna go through all of them one by one, however. So Infernity Inferno. Discard 2 cards and send the same number of Infernity cards from your deck to the graveyard. Definitely not gonna play that. Hojo the Valence Warrior. It's a pendulum card. I know it's a newer archetype. Being completely honest with y'all, I don't know what they do, and going over its effects, it's not a good card unless it is used in that archetype. If it said something like as long as you control a water monster versus a water valence monster, then I would consider throwing it in just for its free special summon. Arcana Force 5, the Chariot. Of course, all these monsters have coin flip mechanics. Heads, when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon that monster to your field. Tails, give control of this card to your opponent. Way too many drawbacks on this one, because if I get Tails, then I just wasted my normal summon and gave my opponent something to work with. Heads, I need to be able to beat over something in battle to steal it, and it's only 1700. Way too risky. Got Gaia Plate, the Earth Giant. Once per turn during a standby phase, banish one rock monster from your graveyard or send this card to the graveyard. You can special summon this card from your hand by banishing 2 rock monsters. If this card battles an opponent's monster, that monster's attack and defense become half during the damage calculation only. So the halving effect is actually amazing. That means if this went up against a Master of Oz, 4200, they'd crash. But yeah, this is basically a rock deck monster. Needing to banish 2 and then continually banish 1 to keep it alive. I got Gaga Head. If only your opponent controls a monster, you can normal summon this card without tributing as a level 4 monster. When this card is normal summon, you can target up to 2 Gaga monsters in your graveyard, special summon them. Cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except Xyz Gaga. Then if it was used for material, draw a card. Initially I just looked this card over like it's lame, but it's actually not that bad. Free 2100 beater that can be normal summon. I got Power Code Talker here, 3 monsters. Once per turn you can target one face-up monster in the field and negate that target's effects to the end of the turn. The other effect is basically tribute a monster that it points to and its attack becomes double, 4600. But it's going to be a while before I'm able to do some consistent link climbing. The SR I ended up getting was Chaos Hunter. Was hoping it would have an actual chaos mechanic like banishing lights or darks, but it's basically I can special summon it by discarding a card when my opponent special summons a monster, and then the opponent cannot banish cards. So the secondary effect might be clutch depending on whatever deck I'm going up against, but 99.9% of the time your opponent's going to special summon, so this card's going to be very easy to bring out most of the time. And the last card is Laval Judgment Lord. Once per turn you can banish one Laval from the graveyard, inflict 1000 damage to your opponent, and then it cannot attack the turn you activate the effect. It's my first Laval card, can't really use the bonus effects. Its stats are decent, but nothing I'm going to be running at this time. So for the updates, of course I'm going to add Chaos Hunter, such a good card, Power Code Talker, Penguin Soldier, and the Duel Abyss Worm. Remove Super Roboyo for my extra deck. Cure Mermaid, I was mainly keeping it around so I had a different attribute to help with the Palace of the Elemental. Jethonian Polymer, I finally decided to get rid of it because I've opened with it so many times, haven't been able to pull it off. I really wanted to be able to take someone's branded monster and just have them rage quit afterwards, but whatever. Then I decided to get rid of Alien Mother. I have like 5 cards in the archetype already, but there's a reason why you don't see anyone play them. They're really slow and bad cards, and when I do draw them to the card, I never want to play it. Feels bad. Feels bad for only 2,300. I add Salamangreat, Jack Jaguar, and remove my Alien Soldier because they have the same stat line, and since I removed all the other alien stuff, the Alien Soldier can go, and the Salamangreat at least has a piercing effect. With that, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe if you did. I will see you all in the next one. Peace.
That's right.